Very good morning, everyone who's watching on TikTok Live. We're seeing me this morning. As you would have known, I'm Reginald Samuel Martin, same old Tai Chicos, the dancer, the no-nonsense speaker, the one that feels to himself that he has speak truth and have been disliked for the truth that I have spoken. One that believes that is quality over quantity. One that really believes in righteousness. One that believes in intelligence. If you're that sort of an individual this morning, you're going to want to stay in this live and you're going to want to share this live. You're going to, if you want a little more than what you have, and if you believe that iron sharpeneth iron, and also you believe that each one teach one, if your intelligent level is so high, then you will want to stay on this live this morning, and you will want to share it this Sunday morning, the 14th day of August 2022. I have a very important lesson and a very important topic I want to bring forward. It's a very hot topic ever since this pastor declared the back shot, creating all kind of arguments. But I haven't heard anyone comes with the one I'm about to present to you this morning. I just want to make this clear. This is not about religion, right? This is not about denomination. This is not about Christianity, right? This is about reality, right? So all egoistic people who don't know but are just egoistic about what they prefer and what they do not prefer, right? I want to shed some light on it this morning. I could have done it other way, but I decided to go live, and whosoever will may take the lesson, whosoever will may share it, whosoever will. What is this? Yes, whosoever will may join in, and we can have not a quarrel, but a discussion. I am sick and tired of watching people on their on live, and all they do, they are fussing, they are cussing, they are swearing, and not in a way to edify the people. Now let me tell you something. The youths them of today, we have to put them in consideration, and we have to forget sometimes our ego, right, and look at the reality of things. I'm gonna bring forth to you this morning a lesson from Genesis chapter 30, right? Let me give you a rundown of what the lesson is about. It's about catching certain breed of animals. Certain breeds of animal and how they were caught. I say caught meaning to get that specific type of animal, there are specific things that Jacob has done with his intelligence for him to get the sheep spotted. Right? And it all comes through focusism. Focusism. So let me dare say, when two human beings, right, joins together, it means you are to focus. And that's how the word folk comes into being, and people call it folk. It really means to focus. Right? There's a lot of argument about what the preacher has said. Just a minute. Let me take this down. Yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you all, thank you. Yes, as I dare to continue this on this intelligent pathway to this whole story that people are just eager about sex and certain type of sex, right? Certain position, right? And not putting an intelligent spin to the reality of things, right? Me in my small circles endeavor to do so. I've been doing this from 2005, and let's hope today will be a blessing to someone, that we can see the, I'm gonna use the word repentance, the changing of the guard, the changing of people's mind towards these things, because what people are doing actually is normalizing the things that is not right, practicing the things that is not right, and from generation to generation it continues, right? So one has to say, wait, stop it here, sacrifice this, sacrifice that for the next generation to come, so it don't continue. The whole subject of turning your back and your partner while mating, I'm gonna say it clearly to you this morning again, it is wrong, right? No matter what you hear people are saying out there, people are saying this and do no studies on it to know that it is wrong, right? People are saying, yeah, because it carries a lot of hype, and that doesn't make it right. It is many are called, but it is a few are chosen. Don't watch the noise, watch the seal. Is quality over quantity. It's good over evil. Please remember all of these things. Then you make the analysis of what it is right and what is wrong. It's not everything. What is sweet to the mouth, it's bitter to the belly. It has an effect. Backway mating definitely has an effect on the human race, because human being did not made or created to mate that way. It's an adoption that we take up, and we must stand up to our responsibility and suffer the consequence of disobedience. It is not our style. God has made animal, and he has made humans. He had made the trees, the birds and the bees and the flowers on the trees, and each and every one of them have their standing order. We may not worry to study the ants standing order. We may not worry to study the bees, the flowers, and the trees standing order. We may even not worry to study the standing order of the animals, but we need to study the standing order, right, of the human race. Isaiah, if I could quickly go over to Isaiah 1, then I will give you an understanding of what Isaiah is saying here about the human race. And I'm reading from the Deuteronical's Apocrypha. You can also read it from your King James Version. What it said here is just what it means, right? He said, the Lord said, earth and sky, listen to what I am saying. And notice, the author said, the children I brought up have rebelled against me. That's what Isaiah, the author said, Isaiah said, that the children now, he's talking about the human being. He's not talking about the animals. Not like you who perverted your young ones and call them kids. No, they are not kids. So you pervert their name, their title, so you pervert the position that they got in. Right? How comes you are calling your children kids? And that's something that we adopt. Right? The children I brought up have rebelled against me. That's what Isaiah is saying this morning. Right? That God said to him that the children that he created rebel against him. How do they rebel? Right? He goes on to say, cattle knows who owns them, and donkey knows where their masters feed them. But that is more not what my people Israel know. They don't understand at all. That's what Isaiah is saying, right? That the Lord has said. And the author put it in this book, right? Called the Bible, right? He also goes on to say, you are doomed, you sinful nation. You corrupt and evil people. Your sins drag you down. You have rejected, 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 you have rejected. And I said rejected. You throw it away. You neglect it, right? The standing order. If you're with me, you will stick and stay. If you're not with me, you will go. Reject, reject, reject. You change. You have rejected the Lord. You have rejected the Lord, the Holy God of Israel. How comes you're calling your children kids? You have rejected the name of your offspring and give them your title, kids. You don't have kids, right? Right? So I hope this lesson is soaking into somebody's bone who looking at their children. Oh, my kids, I have 4 kids, I have 10 kids. I hope you're coming face to face with the reality of your rejection this morning. Right? You have rejected the Lord, the Holy God of Israel, and have turned your backs on him. Right? Why do you keep on rebelling? Right? Do you want to be punished even more? You rebel against the name of your offspring. They grow up to call their one another puppy. They grow up to call their one another dog. They grow up to act like animals and cannibals. And you are wondering where it is coming from. Oh, look, Pam, a nice child when we have. Look what he has done. He has done something senselessly because animals don't have sense. animal have instinct. So that individual act of instinct and not senses, because you already labeled them animals by calling them kids. Remember, the word is the most powerful instrument on planet Earth. The words take on flesh, and the words now acting in man. The word is now the label that you placed on your children. They act it out and develop a certain kind of lifestyle as they grow. And it's the same thing happens to the sexual position that you conceive in as a symbols, right? You get your children under various symbols, and when your child grows, they act under that symbols accordingly. I'm a nice child. Look, I'm a nice child. Yes, they may be beautiful in their outer appearance, but the symbols that you got them under is murky. It means something else apart from good, right? So we have to put symbols in our relationship, in our mating. The sexual position, you will have to take very, very good care of the sexual position you are mating it in, because some of you do not know the symbols that you are that you are mating under, the governance, the covenants, right? What these positions, right? Some old Egyptians policies, which were not conducive to nature's law, and it has adapted and recycling from generation to generation, right? So it becomes a norm up here, but it is getting out of hand. And now we have to rethink, we have to recycle, right? Why Abraham lived to over 500 years? Why in those early days his sickness used to kill people, right? And it takes a long time before they develop those sickness, right? We have to go back. We have to retract our mind to see the symbols, the education, the food, and the medication. We have to. What these people were eating, what Matilda was eating, what Daniel was eating, what Abraham was eating, what were their medication, right? What were the symbols they lived under, right? How they made. Did they drop their drawers and gave their wife or their husband a back shot, right? Or did they focus in getting those children? Is it because of the adaptation why you have children killing mama, papa, auntie, and child? Is that symbols of death they're under? It is that symbols of disrespect they're under? Because from my knowledge, when you turn your back and mate, you are disrespecting, you're insulting the person you're mating with. If you turned your back and speak, if I don't speak in the lens of the camera and I turn my back, I'm insulting my viewers. If I'm taking something from you and I don't present myself to you, or you don't present yourself to me, then it's an insult. So tell me, under God's heaven, why then mating is not an insult when you turn your back? Why it is not under the symbols of insult when you are mating? I want you to talk to me. I want you to comment. I want you to rebut me, right? I want you to tell me where I am wrong. I don't want you to sit there. I don't like it. Yes, man. No. Let us reason this morning. And let us not fool ourselves that we are not contributing to this high level of crime and violence that is taking place universally. Let's not fool ourselves this morning as I bring forth this live on TikTok to you this morning. Let's not fool yourself. And I don't care who you are. You could be the prime minister. You could be the governor general, right? You could be the chief of staff. You could have been the security minister. You could have been the justice minister. You could have been all of the high officers of the land. And you made back way. And your intelligence and your PhD and your accolades are high like Mount Jabla Hill. It is wrong. Right? If talking and you turn your back is wrong and insultive, mating back way is insultive equally. Right? All you pastors who drop in draws, turning back way and back shotting. The Prime Minister talk about chopping. I talk about back shotting. All those who is back shotting, back way, right? And think that just as the choppers believe that it is right to chop, so does a lot of you believe that it is right for you to be back chopping. Forward ever, backward never. Right? Right? I saw the preacher, the female preacher, kicking up a storm. If it was she this morning on her live, the amount of heart you see going up, then she goes with the notions that it's because we are bad mind of her page, of her ministry. I don't know about anybody else. I have a passion for truth and reality, right? And I agreed with her up to the point when she named the position backshot. Because I know what she's saying about neglecting their home, the services of their home and their agreement. I'm totally agreeing with her. But I disagree when she named a position. She would be much safer saying focus because the word focus means sex. I won't be as raw this morning, right? Because the word focus, you cannot focus without sex. And the eye contact has been made. That is focus. That's what you call folk, right? Focus is him. Your two eyes, if you're a female, and mine, while the two productive organs join together and we focus until we reach the peak, and excited we ejaculate and fertile the eggs in the females. It's not about turning your back. And there are other unique reasons why it is not appropriate for you to turn your back spiritually and physically. It is not right in both quarters, neither physical or spiritual. It's a symbol of human blindness, but not physical but spiritual blindness, a downward trend. In the four positions that mention, if you notice them, that the back shot comes into being, as they name them, the female heads are down. Cock up, the female heads down. Back shot, the female head down. Doggy style, the female head down. And the worst of them all is head top. All the organs turn upside down. And if you mate in those positions, conceive in those positions, even the child brain going to turn upside down. Topsy-turvy, mix up, unstable. Where are my challengers this morning? Where they are. Nobody to challenge me, right? When Jesus wrote on the ground, he said, where are your accusers? They all run away. Is this happening this morning? Huh? Nobody. I need a challenge from someone who said back shot is the best. The pastor is right, and she cannot explain why she is right. But I can explain why she's wrong. Right? I can bring the reality. Francois and Paul and Otto Jones in the morning. Battle your parents. When the question asks, the workings has to come forward. Here is the workings this morning. Go into the cranium of your mind and look at the reality of things. And not what you hear everybody else say. See them walk around and say fully done. Right? You have to follow them. Because the hype is, everybody say, when they say fully done, right? Because of the craze. Are you going to label yourself as fully done? Certainly Reginald Samuel Tychicus Martin won't. No. Because I know the power of words. And I knew that the words take on flesh. So I will never do that. Right? Certain things I will never call back front or front back. I will never call lie truth and truth lie. No. I will never pervert the vagina for the rectum. I will never. There are certain things that cannot change. There are certain things that just cannot change, like the sun rises in the east and go down in the west. There are certain things that nature has provided that cannot change. Man go ahead and perverts them and change them. I know I'm gonna say it again. I'm not talking religion here. I'm not talking denomination here. I'm not talking politics. I'm not talking Christianity. I'm talking reality. So I said to you this morning, if you want a challenge at my discussion this morning, and I mean sober, intelligent challenges, me no mean an egoistic person who only hear about sex and just ego up the sex, ego up with the hype, and come say a word and run gone and not give me the workings. You need to give me the workings like oh I am giving you the workings this morning. Then you can talk to me. If talking to you back way is an insult, taking something and I turn my back is an insult, then why then mating back way is not an insult? Answer that question. There goes your workings. So you work from that. Why sex is exceptional? And there are 1,000,001 reasons I can bring forward to you, right? Where it is wrong. Before I touch where it is coming from. Before I touch the commencement of it and why it is here. Right? It is here because of insultation. Me no rate you. Me no love you. Backshot carries no emotional remorses. Right? It carry no focusism. Right? You get your children them back way that the same way they grow. In your mind, you believe that they are okay. They may be Prince Charming, but something has gone amiss in the cranium of their mind. And if you think a joke, me I make check it out. Right? Why me never know as a child so that they do that. Because me grow up a child nice, but it already embedded in the DNA. You start calling them kids. Yeah? You get them while you just want to please your husband or your wife. See the techie. And in vexation you turn back way. And him impregnate you that way. But yet you get a nice, lovely daughter. And later on down the road, you hear she, or you see him he or she doing some bizarre things, some questionable things. It's already embedded in his or her DNA under the symbols in which they were conceived. I challenge you this morning. I am the same old dancer, right? But God already tells you that one can chase 1,000. And he said, if you refuse to prophesy, the wood and the stones will prophesy. Where you are looking for salvation is not there, because you have already turned everything upside down. Some people you're calling demons, they are the one you ought to follow. Solomon said, follow the way of the ants and be wise. And it's only a wise person follow the way of the ants. And only a few. Majority try to kill the ants. Try to step on the ants. Majority, only a few think of how the ants live. Only a few. Majority don't think about the ants. But yet Solomon said, use the ants as an example to man. Ants is my teacher. Ants shows me unity. Ants show me how to save and prepare. Right? Ants. I'm talking about the ants. So this morning, those of you who cannot be taught by the dancer, right? Oh, glory be to God. Those of you who will not allow the raven to feed you because you're so sophisticated, right? Those of you who believe the junker should not be feeding you, or your glass have to be shining. You cannot drink water from the spring in your hands because you are too proud to do so. Miss sorry for no. Right? Those of you who fail to understand Matthew chapter 23, the whitewashed sepulchre, the strain the fly and swallow the camel. Right? I am sorry for you this morning. Those of you who look for blings, those of you who look for righteousness in the man's garment, those of you who look for righteousness because he's a preacher, and righteousness don't they nowhere less unless you wear jacket and tie and you have a church. You cannot talk righteousness. You cannot discern, right? You cannot see things, right? You don't have healing power. You have a next guest coming intelligent dunce. You have a next guest coming, right? All these were said for you to join the bandwagon of religions, right? You don't have to join a religion to be righteous. You don't have to join any denomination to do right. Right? Not one thing or so. Right? All you need to do, follow the order of nature, which is non-religious, non-political. I trust this morning you understand the intelligence of human being. And one intelligence is not in the garments they wear. Remember that. It's not in the car they drove. Right? It's not in the monumental building and the sophisticated office that they are in. No. Intelligence can be found in the coal market. Intelligence can be found in the wilderness. Intelligence can be found on top of the mountain. So, the whole idea of all of those is to bring to you how did Jacob catch the breed of the spotted animal. sorry to take you way around your back to Isaiah and all of that, but for you to understand what happens in the past, for you to understand the foundation, the groundation, the precedents, the protocols that were set by nature, I did have to go thus far. I am one of those who make them ban preachers on the buses. They say, man, yeah, because of what I was preaching in those times against the people. Just like TikTok, if you preach too much against anybody, they reported you. And they reported me because I was speaking the truth on these buses. Right? JUTC buses. They reported to the Reverend at that time. He was the head of JUTC, and he decided that he will be banning all preachers. Mark you, I knew rogue were on the buses, just as I knew rogue preachers are in the churches. Why you don't ban the church? Right? Right? But the reason they turned their back on nature's law. Nature said, let the wheat and the weed grow together until the day of harvest. Instead, they banned everybody and tried and use their friend who will not speak against their doings. And nature, our God, said, let the wheat and the weed grow together, because that's how you're going to know good from bad. When they both grow together. And when it is time for production, you look who produced from who not produce. Then those that don't produce, that the time you pull that one out, you don't pull out the good with the bad. And you don't pull out the bad with the good. You make them grow together. And say who produce. Right? So there a lot of administrators do things without thinking. They are senseless. They use the power of their offices, right, and make these erroneous mistakes from time to time. You wonder how could they do that, and they are the president of this, and they are the minister of that. How could you be so erroneous? Because they are not acting on their vocabulary status. They are acting on the status of their ministry or their office. Right? They need not think, come here, the minister this. Anything me say, I saw it go. So me hurt who fi hurt, and who please, please. That's how they go about their business. Right? But we need to get back to Nehemiah type of thinking. To Ezra type of thinking. We need to get back to those. They were thinkers. Zerubbabel. All those were thinkers. These people are not thinkers. They act, then they think. They do everything the way they get back way. Because they are under that symbols of backwardness. That's how they were conceived. So then, Laban, and we know Laban, we know that Laban was Isaac's brother. And after the betrayal, I would say it's about who got it first. After Isaac wanted to bless Esau, his first son. That's why they say Busha Yezino. After Esau wanted to bless his first son after he got blind and realized that his passing was near, he said, I must continue the principles of nature. I must continue. And in doing so, I have to pass on my wisdom unto my son. So he thought about calling Esau. Rebekah were in favor of Jacob. Isaac were in favor of Esau. So Isaac called Esau and said, I'm about to leave this earth and I want you to continue what I was doing. So I will hand over the baton unto you just like Elijah and Elisha. Right? I will hand over the baton to you. So guess what? Do something for me. You see, the food one you used to cook me in for the last time, go get one of the fattest goat, a calf or cow, and come curry it and give me. And after that, me I go bless you. And you now go and have the power. But little did Isaac know that Rebekah were listening. And Rebekah heard, and he ran to his favorite son Jacob and said to Jacob, I overheard this conversation. Your dad is about to bless Esau. And here is the formula, right? If you can get this formula before him, you will get the blessing. Glory be to God this morning. And so said, so done. Jacob reaches the formula first and presented the formula to his dad. Although his dad was blind, but his spiritual mind did not blind. And Rebekah knew that. Because they've been together for a long time. So Rebekah knew that. So Rebekah said, Jacob and Esau don't smell the same way. They don't feel the same way. So Rebekah put on the animal skin and Jacob, because that's how Esau feels. And he uses Esau's perfume. So he smells like Esau. He feels like Esau, but he was not Esau. He was Jacob. And although in his mind, Isaac, he knew that something was wrong, but he goes ahead the same and blesses Jacob for Esau. And it brings about a jealousy in the camp that Jacob has to take the advice of his father and said, remove away from Esau, because he had a Hittite wife, and he has adapted all the principles of the Hittites, right? He will kill you. So stay away from him. He is under a different symbols. He's under the symbols of death, because he's hurt. So stay away. I have a brother far over yonder. Find him and go stay with him. He also have 2 lovely daughters. Marry them. Focus with them. Focus on the family. Yes? And they did exactly what Isaac said. And they find Laban. When they find Laban, Isaac was rich and Laban was poor. Have a few cattle, but going nowhere. Oh, glory be to God. But the man with the blessings walked into their pathway. Not a man with a curse, right? A man with the blessings now steps into Laban's pathway, into Laban's vicinity. And his cattle, his everything started to increase, because the man with the blessing is there. Oh, glory. A man cannot live without a woman. Jacob wanted a woman to balance him. So Jacob asked for Rachel. Oh, the sweet Rachel. And Laban agreed, but also equally know the laws in that vicinity, that the older, the younger could not marry before the older. But because of the blessings, Jacob and Laban did not brought that into being. Right? Instead, Jacob tricked Laban tricked Jacob and give unto Jacob Leah, the first daughter. As the rule stated that the first has to marry before the second. Right? Glory. This is all about focusism, This is what I'm teaching this morning. Focusism. Why the word folk could not be a bad word. It is focus. Focus on the family. Focus on the word. Right? We are focusing this morning on the reality of life. The reality, the truth of reality. We are focusing on this morning. And Jacob focused with Leah. Hi, baby T. Blessed, blessed, blessed. Jacob focused with Leah and get a child, a son. Focusism. Because Jacob were blessed. He blesses Leah's womb. Oh, glory. Under the supervision of the Most High God. He blesses Leah's womb. And Leah bring forth a child, because all of this were purposeful to where we are today. Leah also have a maid, a helper. Jacob complains bitterly and make another agreement that after 7 years he will have to marry the one he loves, which is Rachel. And he waits diligently and work earnestly until 7 years to eat the fruits that he really and truly loves, because of perseverance and focusing on what he wanted, right? He waits patiently for another 7 years. And after the 7 years, it becomes a reality that he married Rachel. But God did not ready to bless his Rachel's womb. Because when the things I want to run things, man. Me I go breed a girl there. Breed it, no? Without you get the authority from the Almighty. Breed it, no? Drink your boom. Drink your insure. Right? And God not ready for that individual. God not ready to open up that individual womb. You don't find the right formula. She try all the mandrake and her womb. Well, it would more look like the mandrake opened the womb, but it is God permission, under God permission. Right? Not for you to forget that when she couldn't have gotten pregnant, Rachel maid were given unto Jacob, but God opened Rachel maid's womb, and as Jacob touched it, so she pregnant, she conceived. He said, take the maid then, since me can't have nothing. Remember it coming from Abraham and Hagar, right? And Sarah, take Hagar, because it look like Sarah can't get no pitney. Take the maid then, because it look like Rachel can't get no pitney. Right? You see what I say? Right? So it comes down in the DNA. Same thing, up at top, I eat it up and down here, so. Came down in the DNA. Under that symbolization, that symbols, it came right down to that. That the offspring has to be doing the same thing. If you take a maid and breed the maid. Poor Rachel was there, mourning and groaning, feel lost and left out. Can you imagine if it was in Jamaica? They would call Rachel skull belly. They would call her barren. Oh, they would ridicule her. I knew it was happening in Israel at the time. She was being ridiculed. She was being mocked. I can imagine how she felt. Oh, poor Leah. And Leah must have, me bless. But God did not ready because of one reason. The reasons He has Joseph in mind to be a special king for Israel. So special things takes special scenery, special operation, right? Special things don't just come commonly like that. Pearls is not as popular as diamond. Come on. So the things that are good, it is not popular. Preacher like me is not popular. No, you won't see me come and a preach and teaching like this, and you see my likes going up like on this, like the screen is gonna catch a fire. Because I am not one of those populace. I'm just a dancer. A whim. But the pearls that is within me, you will never see it. And I will never be rewarded by you if you're not clean. No. No. I will never be rewarded. You have to be clean for me to connect to your spirit. Right? If you are not clean, if you are an ascetic person, then that transparency is not there, so you ain't gonna see me. That transparency has to be there for you to see me. Oh, glory be to God this morning. It's sweet. You know, like a well-seasoned pepper pot soup. And so it's seasoned this morning. So Jacob take on the maid, impregnate the maid, got a son, also amongst the 12 tribes of Israel. So the purpose is there, the timing is there. You get me? And when Leah stopped having children, when Leah stopped having children, Leah feel that she wants more children. And Jacob would have sex her day in, day out, night and day, and could not get another child from Leah. And Leah said, take me maid, because I look like me can't breathe again. Glory be to God. And so said, so done. Jacob takes the maid, have sexual intercourse with the maid, and it look like as Jacob touch the underwear, so the maid breed. Yes. When you're blessed, you're blessed. Right? And when your purpose is to come forth, it's coming forth. Nobody can stop it. So Jacob has get a child with Leah and Leah's maid, and also with Rachel's maid. The only one that never get a child is Rachel. And for that reason, special. The pearls of Israel were within Rachel. Until that day, when God opened Rachel's womb, and there comes Joseph, the pearl of Israel. The journey to the purpose. Right? Why Rachel has to go through all of this? Because she was special. Whatever I'm going through today, I knew that I am special. What the preacher is going through today, I knew she is special. Talking about the backshot preacher. But she gets to come to the forefront of reality and leave her ego behind her. Preacher, if you're hearing me this morning or somebody sharing this live with you, you are special. Because God doesn't condemn you. My job is not to condemn her. My job is to reach her and teach her why backshot is wrong. And listen now, preacher. Even the animal knew that backshot is wrong. And Jacob knew. Right? And listen this story here. After the birth of Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, Let me go so that I can return home. Give me my wives and children that I have earned by working for you, and I will leave. You know how well I have served you. Laban said to him, Let me say this. I have learned by divination that the Lord has blessed me because of you. Name your wages and I will pay them. Jacob answered, You know how I have worked for you and how your flocks have prospered under my care. The little you had before I came has grown enormously, and the Lord has blessed you wherever I went. Now it is time for me to look out for my own interests. Jacob is saying this to Laban, his cousin. His uncle, what shall I pay you? Laban asks. Jacob answered, I don't want any wages. I will continue to take care of your flocks. If you agree to this suggestion, let me go through all your flocks today and take every black lamb and every spotted or speckled young goat. There goes purpose again. And just stay with me and this life, and you will understand the purpose of why Jacob asked for the spotted, the black and the spotted one. You will learn this morning, right? Let me go through all your flocks today and take every black lamb and every spotted or speckled young goat. That is all the wages I want. You say, oh, Jacob smart. Yes? Yes. In the future, you can easily find out if I have been honest. When you come to check on my wages, if I have any goat that isn't speckled or spotted or any sheep that isn't black, you will know that it has been stolen. Now, what Jacob is suggesting here, instead of giving me $1, teaches me, let me make my own dollar. Teaches me how to fish, right? Instead of the money, right? Instead of pay me every week, make me, can me bless. Just like how me bless your little weak flock, I can bless my own too and let it grow probably bigger than yours. So he did not take money. Money is not all. Jacob knew his purpose because he knew he was blessed. Right? So he did not take money and just say, give me a goat, but give me this, give me, just like Noah and the ark, a pair of every animal. So Jacob asked for a pair of spotted, speckled, black animal, because he's gonna match them up now and let them focus and get the spotted one them same way, right? So you can know Laban's flock different from Jacob's flock, right? Just one at each him want. Laban knew that. Laban agreed but never carried out the request of Jacob, but Jacob do find a way. How? Like water, you are unstoppable. When you are blessed, you are unstoppable. Listen as we goes on. Laban answered, agree, we will do as you suggest. But hear what he did now. But that same day, Laban removed the male goats that had stripes or spots on all the females that were speckled and spotted or which had white on them. He also removed all the black sheep. He put his son in charge of them and then went away from Jacob with this flock as far as he could travel in 3 days. Wow, the unfair Laban. The unfair Laban. Right? Giving Jacob basket to carry water, but Jacob know how to make basket carry water. And listen on. But Laban removed, we read there already, but let me go on. But that day Laban removed the male goats that had stripes or spots on all the females that were speckled and spotted or which had white on them. He also removed all the black sheep. He put his sons in charge of them and then went away from Jacob with his flocks as far as he could have traveled in the 3 days. Jacob took care of the rest of Laban's flock. Jacob got no studiation better than education. And Jacob knew his purpose and he has to continue. So like water, he is unstoppable. So you say, you take all of them there, me can't get no breed. I'm going to improvise. I'm going to find a way. How must get this focusism continue? How I'm going to get the animals them to focus and spotted things. Right? Listen what Jacob did. Jacob got green branches of popular almond and plane trees and stripped off some of the bark so that the branches had white stripes on them. He placed these branches, listen carefully, back shutters, drop your drawers and give your husband a back shot. Listen carefully here. Right? He placed his branches in front of the flocks at their drinking troughs. Why? He put them there because the animal mated when they came to drink. So Jacob wanted the animal to focus on the trees that he had stripped, that when they conceived, they were conceived on what they were focusing on, the spotted trees, right? He stripped the bark and left some place white, so that takes the place of the white in the animal that Laban had moved tree, that you can travel 3 days from far away from Jacob. Oh, glory be to God. Get some sense, right? He put them there because the animals mated when they came to drink. So when the goats bred, we call it breed. When the goat breed in front of the branches, they produces young that were streaked, speckled, and spotted. Back shatters. Wanna hear? It was placed there as a symbols, right? So when you focus on that symbols, those are the type of offspring you're gonna receive, you're gonna get. I'm reading from Genesis 30. I'm at verse 40. Study on the book, please. Don't make no egoistic pastor at the past stage I tell you about. You turn your back, drop your... Don't make no egoistic pastor telling you that. I am radical and I'm hilarious, but in the right thing. Want to hear that again? So when the goats breed in front of the branches, they produce young that were streaked, speckled, and spotted. Right? The symbol that you're under when you are mating as a human being, that is the offspring you're going to get. Hear what Jacob did again as we're coming to the end of this reading. Jacob kept the sheep separate from the goat and made them face in the direction of the streaked and black animals of Lebanon. Focus is him again, catching the breed, right? In this way, he built up his own flock and kept it apart from Lebanon's. Right? Go read in the Bible, please, with understanding too. Before did they agree with this pastor? Read. Come with the workings. Here is the workings this morning. So you cannot agree and you don't know symbolism. You cannot say it right and you don't know the symbols of backshot. You have to know it. Then you know if it is right or wrong. You cannot say it right in the dark and you cannot say it wrong in the dark. You got to know it. When the healthy animals were mating, Jacob put the branches in front of them at the drinking troughs, so they would breed among the branches. Breed among the branches. But he did not put the branches in front of the weak animals because him don't want that the breed. Right? Him don't want that symbols of the weak one. Right? That's why Isaiah said, cattle know who own them, but my people Israel do not know at all. Right? And but he did not put the branches in front of the weak animals. So Laban had all the weak animals and Jacob all the healthy ones. The table has turned. Right? Some people would call that karma. In this way, Jacob became very wealthy. He had made flocks. He had many flocks, slaves, camel, and donkeys. There goes the reading, right? I trust in the name of the living God this morning that someone got this message, that someone benefited from this message, that someone repented from their thoughts of backshotting their husband this morning. I pray to the living God this morning that my people's eyes are open to the truth and reality. This morning, I thank you. I thank you for the support you gave me. I knew that it is many are called, but it is a few are chosen. It's quality over quantity. And I'm satisfied that even that one lost sheep had heard my voice this morning. That 99, right, that had gone astray. And I won't feel comfortable until the 1 for 100 return. There were 99 that were safely laid. But my mind is troubled about that one single one. Those of you throwing away your $1, your $1, your start, that one to make a million, that one to make 1,000, that one to make 100, you're throwing it away. It's not the right thing to do. Go search for it. In the meantime, you find it. I'm quite sure you will find wisdom there too. And know that you cannot have two unless you have one. So you have to start from one. For all those who love ready done, for all those who don't want a wife or a husband for themselves, I wish I did have a wife, but as according to them, I'm too poor. So all who don't want to start and want to earn, I implore you this morning to plant one corn grain. One, and you get many grains and one fruits this morning. I am Tychicus, your revelator. For all the backshotters, repent, tackle it from the front. Please focus. Don't get your children without the eye contact. You're going to bring some real demons on the land. Now the next time, I will point out to you the type of children you bring when you get them back way, cock up, doggy style, and head chop. Out of here! Catch you at another place.